The 2026 Arizona Diamondbacks enter the season as the definition of a middle-of-the-pack contender. On paper, there's real talent here. Star power, some depth, youth, veterans, and upside arms, and a few bullpen pieces with legitimate swing and miss stuff when healthy. But there's also inconsistency everywhere you look. This isn't a roster that screams 90 to 95 wins, and it's not one destined for 95 losses either. Instead, it's a club hovering around that 80 to 85 win range, currently constructed, and the type that can stay relevant into July, but has to make hard decisions when reality sets in. Whether they push forward or pull back may depend less on projections and more on health, because several of their most important players are already carrying major question marks entering this season. So, let's take a moment, break down some of the roster, and see really where this Diamondbacks team's going to go in 2026. So, Corbin Burnes is really the backbone of the pitching staff. There's no way around that. Burnes was exactly what Arizona hoped for. A stabilizing ace who still misses some bats, 8.8 Ks per 9, limits damage, had a 2.66 ERA, and when healthy, which he missed most of last season, he eats innings though. His presence alone does change how opposing teams face them. Burnes is a borderline top 100 player in the game today and gives the Diamondbacks legitimacy every fifth day. And on a middle-of-the-pack team, that matters enormously. Oh, hold on, wait. He's actually going to be injured for more than half of this season, recovering from Tommy John surgery. Maybe more. So, not a good start. Now, Merrill Kelly. He continues to be one of the most underrated arms in baseball. And I suppose he's going to be the ace to start this season. Had a strong 2.9 WAR, 3.52 ERA across his 32 starts. Has pretty elite control for the most part. A 1.114 whip. He's the kind of pitcher contenders quietly rely on. I don't believe any contender should believe he's an ace, though. He doesn't dominate, but he competes for sure. And on a roster with volatility, that consistency is going to be gold for this team. Ryan Nelson might be the most important piece in the rotation this year. A 3.5 WAR last year with 3.39 ERA across 33 games, 23 starts. Really suggests he could be great, but isn't necessarily flashy. The command's there, sure, and if Nelson holds to this level, Arizona suddenly has a strong top three when all are healthy. If he regresses, even slightly, the whole staff really begins to wobble. And things get a little murkier from here. Brandon Pfaadt's 5.25 ERA across his 33 starts is tough to sugarcoat. The strikeouts are strong and passable for sure, but the contact quality and sequencing issues remain unresolved. He was once one of the top pitching prospects in all of baseball, but hasn't really truly put it together. Could this be the year? I don't see it. Shines have shown he's not going to be the ace they hoped for, but he's going to pitch a lot of innings for this team. Mike Soroka offers some upside. Was once a highly touted prospect as well. Had a 9.5 Ks per 9 this past year. Solid whip. Respectable 4.52 ERA. Durability has been his concern over his career. Eduardo Rodriguez. Wow, does he have one of the worst contracts in all of baseball? My goodness. Had a rough season this past year. 5.02 ERA, 1.542 whip, just a .3 WAR in 29 starts. It's pretty brutal value, to be honest. And unless there's a rebound, he's absolutely more of a liability than a solution for this team. So, and then we've got other guys for sure. I mean, there's Blake Walston, who did miss all of 2025 with surgery. Mitch Bratt and Cole Drake might be forced into action this year. I don't think they're necessarily ready, but if any injuries occur to this team, they're going to be thrust into action. This rotation, already before opening day, has a lot of questions before even game is played. Yikes. Not a great start. The bullpen really looks like a roller coaster. On one hand, you have some kind of not nationally known names that are legitimate, solid weapons. They've excelled thus far in their career. Andrew Saalfrank was phenomenal. A 1.24 ERA, a 1.6 WAR, pretty pristine control in his limited action. Cade Shroud, also absurdly effective in limited innings. Posted a 1.71 ERA, a .9 WAR in just 26.1 frames. Christian Mena is another guy. He's kind of a starter, could be a swing pitcher for them. Was pretty electric. 9.3 Ks per nine and 1.35 ERA in limited action. So some guys performed. And then some more reality hits in. Guys that they expected to excel didn't. Kevin Ginkel had a 7.36 ERA and a negative .8 WAR. That's a disaster. Juan Murillo throws 99, but has minimal control. Brandon Garcia and Andrew Hoffman are a few guys that have struggled badly, goodness gracious, and really are more AAA arms, but are going to be thrusted into action this year, and probably heavy amounts of games. Taylor Clark was solid, but not dominant, that's for sure. Ryan Thompson, steady, but, not spectacular. Where are the true studs that are healthy? That's another problem. So AJ Puck is a guy that is really good and flashes immense potential to shut down games late. Injured. Also had Tommy John. Justin Martinez. Same thing. Also had Tommy John. Three guys, three of their best pitchers are derailed by injuries. They're both going to be out half the year. At what point do some of these absences stop being unlucky and start, actively forcing the Diamondbacks out of playoff contention? This bullpen could absolutely, especially if Puck and Martinez return healthy, could be, great and stabilized, but it could also collapse under the weight of its own inconsistency. And for a team that's really living on thin margins, blow a lot of late leads the first half of the year, and be the difference between buying and selling come July. So behind the plate, Gabriel Moreno, a foundational piece, honestly. He's pretty solid. Hit 285, solid pop, 1.6 WAR, and his 277 at bats. That's exactly what you want from a modern catcher. Truly. James McCann, a reliable veteran depth piece, positive WAR, decent player, not a starter at this point, entering his age 35 season, but he's solid. And Adrian Del Castillo, that hasn't fully appeared in the majors just yet, but he's a guy that can contribute. He's got some pop. Is much stronger against right-handed pitching, so he'll get in the games. He'll help the team. Now, the infield is really where things kind of are fascinating. Ketel Marte continues to be one of the best. Actually, let me restate that. He is the best second baseman in baseball. A 4.4 WAR, 28 home runs, 893 OPS. He's the engine. Well, maybe a backup engine, but you get what I'm saying. They have stars. But how long can this engine keep going in Arizona? Rumors have been rampant all offseason of his potential move. But for now, looks like he's going to be remaining on this roster. Geraldo Perdomo, meanwhile, quietly, I might add, put together a monster season. A 7.0 WAR, 20 home runs, 100 RBIs, elite on base skills, honestly. 27 stolen bases. That's star level production at shortstop position. And it's a massive reason this team, stayed afloat in 2025. Goodness, and my fantasy baseball teams last year, he was heavily available. Crazy. The disrespect is massive. Great year. And I think he's going to contribute big once again in 2026. Then there's a fairly recent acquisition, Nolan Arenado. Absolute Hall of Fame resume. It's intact. But the bat's shown signs of age. 237, 666. Crap. OPS. He's still valuable defensively and adds leadership, but he's not carrying a lineup anymore. And Carlos Santana, also recently acquired. Proven to be a great defensive first baseman. How much pop does he have left in him? We'll see. I don't see him cracking more than 15 home runs, 10 to 12, but defensively, he'll be good. He can help this team. Tyler Locklear is a guy who has injuries and is injured right now. He's going to be recovering from surgery. Does a guy like Ildemaro Vargas make the roster, crack the roster after Blaze Alexander's gone now? I think he does. He brings versatility. He's going to have a good chance to carve a path onto this team. And, well, Jordan Lawler. He's a guy who very well may be their left fielder. But is he even any good? The numbers don't inspire confidence. Not at all. At 182, a negative .4 WAR. Absolute minimal power this past year. It's not good. Is it just growing pains, or is it the shine wearing off a once elite prospect? That question's going to remain to see if he can possibly replace a trade asset in Ketel Marte, or does he just stick in left field and cover for Gurriel's eventual return? he's got to step up and step up quick. Corbin Carroll, the outfield, franchise guy. What can you say about him? 5.8 WAR, 31 homers, 32 steals, 883 OPS, superstar. When he's healthy and locked in, regardless of who else is around him, he's going to help make the lineup feel legitimate. Now, I mentioned Gurriel is injured. He's going to be out a little bit. Streaky power, solid run production. Efficiency's dipped a little bit, but he's recovering from a torn ACL, so he's going to be out a little bit of time. Alec Thomas continues to struggle for the most part to find consistency offensively. Pretty solid defensively. A good piece. Jorge Barrosa hasn't shown enough in my eyes to stick in the majors. Could be DFA'd at any point. And then they've got, Pavin Smith and Tim Tawa, who are really role players. And, they're useful, but limited. They both got a little pop. Both better against righties traditionally, power-wise, at least. The outfield's altogether good enough to compete. But if Carroll misses time, the entire offensive structure starts to crumble. It's not hypothetical. It's the reality of this roster. And that's really kind of where the 2026 Diamondbacks are living. They're in the gray zone. If starters like Kelly and Nelson are healthy, if Carroll, Marte, Perdomo are producing, the bullpen stabilizes even slightly, this team could justify trading for another bat and late inning reliever, mid-season. They're close enough, possibly, kinda, that 2 or 3 smart additions could push them in a strong chance to sneak into the playoffs. But if these injuries linger, and if Burns, Puck, Martinez can't return, if Walston never really factors in, Carroll, Perdomo, Marte miss any extended time like Gurriel's already going to, then the math changes quickly. Suddenly, Burns could possibly become a premium trade chip. Marte is going to be back on and available. Maybe Kelly, who they'd, re-signed, and Gurriel could be traded and bring back prospects. The fire sale conversation isn't going to be dramatic at that point. It's absolutely logical. The most compelling reason to believe in a 2026 playoff push for this team, though, is continuity. Nearly half, I repeat, of the 2023 World Series roster is expected on this team. And that matters way more than people realize. Teams that already have been through October, especially a World Series run, don't panic when things get bumpy. They just understand how long a season is, how to survive slumps, how to reset after adversity. It's institutional memory really is going to still exist within Arizona. And it forms the emotional and competitive backbone of this roster. Now, do I believe in this 2026 Arizona Diamondbacks roster like I believe in Joe Henry? If you know, you know. No, I don't. Considering 4 already, before spring training begins, 4 of their top 12 players will already be missing almost half the season, if not more. It's going to take a near miracle and overseeding expectations from the actual 26-man roster to truly keep them in the playoff hunt by time reinforcements can arrive. Earlier, I mentioned they were an 80 to 85 win team. If healthy, they're depleted before the season begins, truly. Your ace, your best two relievers, and kind of a middle of the order bat in Gurriel, they're all hurt. So I expect this 2026 Diamondbacks roster and team to win no more than 78 games in 2026 and to trade off assets. This is a team that quite possibly could be stuck in limbo for the next few years, too. So I recommend the trade because they don't have too many premium prospects in their system. And I hope with these trades, they get a diamond in the rough to help Carroll build and this team grow for years to come. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, look out for more videos to come. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.